All right, hello. I'm Isaac, and today I have the pleasure of sitting down with Ditch Effort, aka Henry Giltar, aka Ryan Gilmour. It's so nice to finally meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
For anyone listening, uh, we've actually talked a little bit before already. I think maybe a year ago now, we collaborated on a song.
Yeah.
Did some drums. Yeah, that was great fun. Thanks for doing that. It was really cool. So obviously I've been a big fan for a while, so it's great to have you here, and I'm very thankful to have this opportunity to interview you. You're actually largely responsible for teaching me guitar with a lot of your Alex G covers online.
Really? Wow, that's pretty crazy.
Yeah, I've got a few friends actually who you're kind of the reason they got into playing music like that.
Damn. That's really, really cool. Thanks for saying that.
That's okay. I swear you were the only one working out the tabs online for a while there.
Yes, that was a uh really kind of crazy time for me and really exciting. I started that channel kind of like while I was in college, and then I had a friend named Adam who was really into Alex G. This was in like 20 um 13, I think, or like, yeah, 2013, 14, the like DSU era.
Yeah.
And I remember he was trying to get me into Alex G, and I was pretty like new to music recording at the time, and I like listened to it and I was like, this is not good. um because I was listening to like Race, and I was,
Yeah.
still pretty used to like relatively like I guess hi-fi,
Mm.
like I was into Modest Mouse in
Yeah.
high school, but even that is like, I don't know. For some reason, it just like I listened to it and I was like, it sounds like he's just like drumming on like pots and pans and stuff, and like it just sounds really weird. And like and then eventually, of course, I did get really into it, but it wasn't until I actually saw Alex G live when he came to UConn,
Oh, really?
and
When was that?
that was like 2013 or 14. It was like definitely part of the DSU tour, but I like went with my friend Adam. I wasn't like excited about it or anything, but I was like, whatever, I'll go. It was like at a church at UConn,
Oh, wow.
the second floor of the church. Yeah, it was wild. It was like really small. They were still wicked small. Like I remember, my friend Adam saw Alex and yelled out, "Alex!" And I thought he was yelling to the drummer. I just assumed that like the drummer was Alex, but then like Alex turned and was like looked at us, and then yeah, we like followed them inside. The drummer was like carrying the drum up the stairs, and like we literally just like walked inside with them, and then they like played the show. And I remember like being in the front row for his head and feeling like my entire body was like melting.
Oh,
And
wow.
yeah, it was incredible. And then after that, I was like very much hooked. And
Transformative moment.
yeah, I had the experience that I think a lot of people have of like hearing Icehead live and then being like, I need to find this song, and like listening through the entire discography and being like, it's not here.
Yeah, I know you've covered that one twice on your channel now.
Hmm.
Two really good
Yeah.
covers. I had the same experience when I first heard him. I was like, "Geez, this guy can't sing." And then, it's like an acquired taste. Like it's got super into it.
Yeah, it's really fascinating.
Have you ever had an interview like this before?
No,
That's
actually.
that's really interesting to me because you've been doing this for a while now, right? Posting online and making music.
Yes. Yeah. I've been it started with kind of that channel. Um I like so after my friend Adam got me into Alex G, like I really got into that album DSU, and like covered Harvey and like figured out how to play the chords to Harvey. I remember like making that video, and then just I sent it to Adam. I was like, haha, I figured out how to play this. And he was like, oh, that's cool. And then it started just gaining traction, and like people were finding the video, and like requests came in to like do other ones, and it was very like fun and addicting to like figure out how to play them and post them. So I did like, it was a combination of like just listening, and I'd watch live videos and stuff and like try to figure out everything. But that definitely made me like a better guitar player and songwriter, was like transcribing stuff and figuring out how to play it.
Yeah, that must have been like 11 years ago now, I think, looking back at some of your old videos.
Yeah, which is crazy. I have been at it for a super long time. But I've remained like pretty underground.
Mm.
I think just due to not really playing live. So it's
Well,
kind
you,
of
you
like,
definitely have a dedicated little fan base. I don't even know how aware you are of that, but I've got quite a few friends and we're all very into you.
thank you. Yeah, no, I am like pretty aware of like I've had people reach out and stuff, and it is awesome to like hear people say like that they like the Alex G covers and like have learned music from me, and um people who check out the originals. Obviously, I'm super grateful for that too if they're into that. Um yeah, it's wild. It's cool.
Yeah, I love how you include the tab to a lot of your songs and the videos you post. Like I just learned Crash yesterday, actually.
Nice. Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah, I
I think
love
it's
the chords.
that's great. Yeah, like I love the idea that people are playing my stuff. Um so I always try to include the tabs, and I use it for myself. I'll go back and be like, how did I play this? So I'll like go back and look and try to see it. But yeah, I need
Yeah.
to play. I need to play like um I don't know. I feel like I kind of know what I need to do if I want to grow uh, as an artist and like get my stuff out there more.
Mm.
But up until now, for whatever reason, I've struggled to like kind of pull the trigger on some of those things. Like I'm sure you see like on Instagram and stuff and like TikTok, like the way that people market their music now. Like
Yeah.
you really have to push. It seems, and like you got to be confident and like give people an invitation to listen to your stuff.
Mm.
Be like, I can't believe I wrote this song. Like it's so good, or like, did I just write
Mm.
the song of the summer? And like,
Shit, Hot Girl Summer.
oh yeah, Hot Girl Summer. That one.
Yeah, it
That one is
definitely
one
feels like
one of
a
my better ones.
that's one of your favorite tracks.
That's one of my better ones, I think. Yeah,
Could you
definitely.
possibly name a few of your favorite songs of yourself, or maybe some of your favorite lyrics?
Yeah. I think.
I could name a few of my favorites if you'd like to hear.
Sure. Yeah. Go ahead.
Um, your track, the sad jazz version of "The Place Where the Asphalt Meets the Sky" is a very special track to me. I love "My Bad," "Basic B," "An Empty Room Full of Empty Things." The Annabella demo on YouTube, that's fucking sick. This American Life. I don't know, I could go on. I could go on.
Annabella. Annabella is good. Definitely. That one's up there for me. I do. I really like Sunk Cost.
Mm.
Um, Sober Joey. I think Sober Joey is my best song actually in
Oh,
terms of
really?
like a song that would be like it's just like nice. Like I've written a lot of stuff that's like objectively depressing or like I don't know. Some of it's like over the top depressing, and I've had like people in my life kind of like express concern at
Mm.
times, um, because of the music. But I think like everybody feels this way some of the time, and like whether they just suppress it or ignore it or whatever, like I think everybody feels, deep emotions, hopefully good, but also like really bad. So I don't know. Living in the past, that one's good. That one's a good one.
Definitely. I mean, I feel it's not necessarily over the top sad, just more so honest. And I love how real you keep it in your music. Do you feel like it helps you kind of process those emotions? What's the creative process like for you?
Yes. I feel like sometimes I've written stuff and listen back to it a while later. And even for me, like I feel like I was hitting on something that was like I wasn't really necessarily aware of or something. Um so like I have the song like Invisible Walls where it goes like there are invisible walls in my house. I remember like playing that for someone and I was like, oh, it's just like a silly song, and they were like, oh, that's like they said something that like inferred that like they understood like some deeper meaning about like my home life or something, and I was like, it just made me think about that, and I don't know. Um, but yeah, it's definitely like it helps you process stuff. I think to write um
Mm.
music, and it can like get at something, at least for me, like sometimes it hits on stuff that is real and that I it's the way that I write. So like I don't write a lot of like sitting down with a pencil and paper or keyboard or anything. Um so like music is the only way that I get my like thoughts out, I guess.
Mm.
So
So for you, does the lyrics kind of come alongside the music every time in the creative process?
pretty much, yeah.
That's
Yeah, pretty
really
much.
interesting. Sometimes I feel like you can say something without even realizing what it means, and then it kind of just comes from this place inside of you that you didn't even realize you were channeling.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Like sometimes that happens, and then I think like I've written stuff and then even like told myself like, oh, this is just like a silly song, I guess. And then like at some point, I sort of process. I'm like, oh, like maybe that's where that was coming from.
Mm. I think that's one of my favorite things about music. That even something you write one day could mean something totally different to you or someone else another day.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I don't think like explaining lyrics is fun actually. If like there's some intended meaning, but no one should take it like as canon. Like they should just be
Mm.
like, oh, that's interesting. But there's something I kind of like, which is um, there was something about I think it's like some mega computer that spit out a bunch of melodies recently.
Like AI?
Um, yeah, I don't know. It might have been AI. I feel like this was before all the AI stuff. I think they just brute forced it. So it was basically just like they just ran a bunch of combinations of quarter notes and eighth notes and basically different notes of the scale at different durations, and they just brute forced a bunch of combinations of those, and then they like copyrighted them or something. So like technically every
Oh.
melody is copyrighted. But it's basically the idea is like it's kind of silly, but you could argue that like um music is actually like not created or invented, but it's like discovered. because
Mm,
technically every combination of notes and chords and even lyrics could could exist, I guess. Um, so that's an idea that I sort of thought of and been like, well, maybe it wasn't actually like written, it was just discovered. So like it's cool that somebody discovered this, but we don't have to like attribute the entire all the credit to them or something.
that's really beautiful. That's actually the way I feel like I view music a lot. Sometimes it just I'll be writing or playing, and it feels like I've just kind of something in the air has kind of flown through me, and all of a sudden I have this song.
Yeah. Yeah, it really is does feel that way. A lot of times, which is cool. I feel like I know when it's not feeling that way, and that's why a lot of my songs are really short because like a lot of times like I'll hit on something and I'll like it, and then I will try to add stuff to it artificially kind of like, after the fact.
Mm,
And sometimes like it just like it feels like okay, but it doesn't it feels like mm, sometimes adding anything to it just like hurts the whole thing a little bit. Like it's
I
better to
get what
just
you
like
mean.
yeah, you just like just leave it. And if you were to like add any more context, it could just ruin it because like then you reduce it from something that's a little bit more open ended down to something that's like just too specific to be like meaningful anymore.
Yeah, I totally get what you mean. Like that little bit of magic in the air is kind of gone, and you're trying to shoehorn it somewhere else that it wasn't.
Yes. Yeah, well said. Exactly.
How do you feel like your music has changed over the years, if at all?
Um I would say that I feel like I've developed more of my own style. In the beginning, I was definitely like emulating a lot of like my influences pretty heavily. So like I wrote stuff that straight up sounded like um it could almost be like you know like writing a song for Alex G or like be like imagine if Alex G wrote this song, it would sound like
Yeah.
this, you know? And like it I was totally guilty of that in the beginning. Like Daisy Jane, I don't even know if that's on streaming. I don't think it is. But like a lot of my early stuff is like, you know, I wouldn't say it's like a ripoff, but I would I could picture somebody saying that and I wouldn't like fight them, I guess. But like I listen to a lot of Brand New and Modest Mouse and Say Anything and Circa Survive and the Mars Volta in college and a lot of that stuff. Oh, Julia Brown and
Mm.
um I won't say the name, but if you know the band, you know the name.
Yeah,
Uh,
I know the band.
yeah. And then, you know, the scene, the whole scene. I think I saw them and Alex G. It was at a show in Brooklyn, New York, and Alex actually like borrowed Sam's guitar for that show for some
No
reason.
way.
Just kind of yeah. And I think like Frankie Cosmos was at that show too. It was like nuts. It was like a very like felt like everybody in like the cool scene was like playing this one show. But I could be misremembering it. Maybe that
And
lineup
who's there
is
in the audience but Ditch Effort?
I was there.
Yeah. I wanted to bring it back to something you said earlier about kind of pushing your personality or your music to make it or pulling the trigger. I'm wondering what does making it mean for you, and kind of what are your aspirations if you were to imagine yourself as a fully realized musician, if you don't already view yourself that way?
um so at one point my YouTube channel became monetized This was about like a year and a half ago, or like maybe even 2 years ago now. So it finally became monetized, and that's like a real battle to monetize a YouTube channel. You need 4,000 watch hours in a 365-day look back period.
Jeez.
So and yeah, and you need the subscriber numbers, which I think it was like 1,000, which I had that, which is good. But yeah, I remember grinding pretty hard to try to get that monetized around, let me look. It was around the time of, yeah, it was about a year ago. So the thing that really pushed it over the edge was my Looking Out for You cover.
Mm. Yeah, that
I
kind of
found
blew
that
up.
song, yeah, I found that song on Instagram and I really liked it. And then I covered it and then that blew up and that kind of carried me to the point where I was like, okay, this is close to being monetized. And then I like just put out a bunch of stuff and got it monetized. And then it kind of like immediately changed my relationship to it for the worse. And I always feel like if I have too much riding on the music, if I'm feeling like I need the music to make me money or something,
Yeah.
or like I'm relying on the music too much for my own like self-worth, um, that's when it gets hard to like write and feel good about it sometimes. So I ended up taking a break and allowing like the monetization of the channel to lapse. It was funny. I did, like YouTube kept saying like if you don't post another video, like you have to post every 6 months, otherwise they demonetize your channel. For some reason, I didn't believe them. I was like, they're not gonna do that. I was
Empty
like,
threat.
I call BS.
Mm.
And like on the day, on like the 6 months mark, they were like, yeah. So that happened. It's fine. I don't know. But yeah, to be a fully realized musician, I feel like I do want to play live and like to play live with people who like my music and like have like people singing along to the lyrics and stuff. Like that would be really fun. Like, that's just got to be undeniably a great experience. Like
Yeah.
I've had it once. I played Porch Fest and at least one person came out. I had some friends and stuff come, but like one person from like YouTube that I know of stopped by, um, which was really awesome, and like got to meet them, and they were like singing along and stuff, and it was really fun. So doing that more would be great, and yeah, I don't know, but like I said, like the pressure,
Mm.
like I'm not even big, and like I feel a lot of pressure sometimes, you know? So like I can't really imagine what it's like when you like actually strike it big and then you have like that's got to be a lot. So
Mm.
yeah, I don't know.
So
I'm trying to
is
like
it
balance my life a little bit with other stuff that gives me purpose.
yeah, what are your other kind of interests? Because I know I'm pretty sure on your YouTube you've tried making I've heard something about you trying to make video games and you had the website Coverpull a little while back. That's I think
Yeah.
cvrpl.com if anyone wants to visit it. Um, so you got a few
I'd say
different
yes,
what's that?
Coverpool. Coverpool is under construction. I would not visit it right now. That project kind of got backburnered and yeah, Coverpool's fine. If you want to do something there, you can listen to stuff. It's honestly after I made that, I was like, if I really want to do this, I could just make like a Discord channel or something. I guess it just felt a little bit like unnecessary. But yes, I do like coding and video games and stuff. So that's another thing that kind of piques my interest sometimes and is something I like to do.
Hmm. Well, what does a day in the life look like for you? What kind of brings you meaning outside of music?
Um, my my partner Heidi and my dog Soccer, the aspects of my life. Playing ultimate frisbee Do
Oh,
a lot of
nice,
that.
dude. Love ultimate
Yeah.
frisbee.
Oh, do you really?
Yeah,
Sweet.
I'm not very good at it, but like I'd totally verse you. Probably get my ass kicked, but be fun.
Are you in England? You sound
No,
British.
no, my dad is British actually, and I've kind of picked it up from him. But I'm in Wellington, New Zealand.
Oh,
Yeah,
nice.
so you're growing a little fan base over here. Hopefully, you'll get
Yeah.
some more traction from this interview.
Awesome. Okay.
It
I would
was
love to.
interesting. Oh, dude, you're so welcome. Come stay at my flat, bro.
No way. All right.
If you ever
We'll chat.
come, you're fully welcome. We'll play some acoustic shows.
That would be fun.
Mm,
Yeah, we'll talk more about that.
cool. Yeah, yeah.
Um,
I'll message you. But what you're saying before about kind of the relationship with music as you kind of were to gain traction. It's interesting that you said that because are you familiar with the artist Bulldog Eyes?
yes.
So for
Yeah.
this same Zine, I've actually just finished an interview with him, and he was talking to me about his choice to stay independent. He's been contacted a few times by labels, and he was telling me that when he sees pictures of artists on tour, they usually look exhausted and miserable, and he wanted to have a different life from that. And for him, it's really just about being at home with the music. So it's interesting how people's relationships are different. I'm wondering, are you worried that your writing and music would be started to gear towards an audience rather than for yourself if you kind of grew?
Yeah. Um, Definitely. Like that is the hard part. And I think it's also like, I don't know, maybe if it gets to a certain point, it becomes like noise. But for me, it's not at that point yet because um I'll like stuff will stick with me, you know, like I'll read comments and stuff. Like I pretty much read all the comments and um I don't know, like they stick in my head sometimes. Like I'll like be thinking about them throughout the day. I'll
Mm,
like sometimes read a certain comment and like that comment will be, you know, kind of with me throughout the day at least, or sometimes longer depending on like what they said. I've been super lucky that like I've like had like basically zero hate.
mm,
Um, so that's like something that I don't know how well I would like handle that, but I'd hopefully be strong enough to just like, you know, I think I would, but um, it would probably be a learning curve, as they say, like, you know, being able to like finally tune it out. Um, I watched this speedrunner Simply, who's a Super Mario 64 speedrunner, and he's kind of like my inspiration for handling just like the nonsense and like the barrage of internet activity that can come at a person when they're doing something they, you know, they love and like putting themselves out there fully, you know,
mm.
because he like totally has, or at least it seems like, you know, he's like pretty much going for it with like the dude makes a living like streaming Mario. Like no, I'm not trying to like be disrespectful, like he's like, you know,
That's just what he's doing.
yeah, he's like fucking epic at Mario, and like
Yeah.
he's a world record holder, and um, so yeah, he's like hilarious and shit. So like, but it's like I don't know, like that's all. I think like watching him has been like kind of helped me to think like I got this. Like I don't know, I feel like I'm gearing up for being able to kind of go for it a little bit more because like I said, like I feel like not to sound like bragging, but like I know some of my stuff's really good. Like I think like some of my songs are really good, and like I want people to hear them, and like I am down to like, you know, kind of like broadcast that and like yo, listen to this, check this out. I think the thing is like maybe that there is some of the stuff that like I'm not so proud of. And maybe that's, you know, holding me back slightly of like being like, yeah, I don't know. Some of this maybe is like a little bit much, but you
What,
gotta
like,
just,
as far as honesty in lyrics goes, or sounds, or what?
yeah, I would say honesty in lyrics. And quite frankly, just like some of the stuff being like, I've looked at it like, so actually, I taught high school math last year,
Yeah,
and the kids like found my music and stuff, and that was just a little weird for me. Like, I don't know, it's fine, but you try, you can imagine, right? Like, put
yeah,
yourself
definitely.
in my shoes. It's just a little bit vulnerable and feels a little bit like, oh God, like I don't know, I don't know.
Definitely. I mean, when you're so honest in your music, I feel like it kind of opens up for a lot of intimacy with people that you don't even really know. It's kind of a special thing, but also quite freaky.
Yeah. Yep.
But I know I've had people reach out to me about this interview, namely my friend Luna. Shout out Luna. And she was telling me that your music has definitely helped her be able to be in touch with her own emotions a lot and kind of be able to express herself. So I think, when you give yourself permission to be confident and honest, you open up the kind of you give other people permission to shine their light, and it's just this kind of cycle. And I think sometimes when you're in that creative process alone, it can be hard to see that, but definitely it has an impact. And I think, if you can tap into that confidence and know that you make dope shit and you're a swag motherfucker who's keeping it real, that's awesome.
Thanks, dude, and thank you, Luna. That's yeah, it's good to hear, and like I feel like I'm getting there, and I think I will be there in the future because just like this, I haven't given up. Like I've been doing this for like so long now, and like I've tried to like give up on this, to be
Mm,
honest, like because I have felt like just like the pressures of you know, people in your life who pressure you to do things. Everybody has them, but
yeah,
you know, of like, but I just simply cannot stop because like I know, yeah. Anyway,
it's
we
a
all have doubts.
compulsion.
We all have self doubt, but I feel like to sum it up, I'm getting better at pushing down the self doubt and keeping out the voices that are saying like, oh, like don't put yourself out there because like I said, the reality is like everybody feels this way, and like I think it was like Ira Glass said like something about human beings is like their minds are like a mess or something. It wasn't that. What did he say? It was something about like how the human mind is just like a tumultuous like mess anyways for everybody. So
Yeah,
like, and I think that's so true. Like, so it's just like nobody like, yeah,
no
I
one's
don't
got
know.
it together.
Listen to This American Life. Yeah,
That is one of my absolute favorite songs of yours. I the lyrics are amazing in that track.
thank you. Yeah, that was from that podcast. I listened to like a boatload of This American Life. At one point, I had a very boring office job, and I pretty much like made it through like the entire catalog of This American Life, which is not something I would ever do at this point in my life. I don't really listen to them podcasts anymore, but it was super helpful. It really was. Like that's a great podcast. So I definitely recommend it. And that's part of my writing style with music is I'll a lot of times start with like something meaningless or like whatever, like This American Life. Just saying that and singing that, and then it leads to something else. So like, I was like thinking about the podcast,
Mm.
but then it made me think about like, America and like I don't know, like led me into that thinking like, oh, so comparably nice. And then it was just me and my friend Spencer, who was in the band in college. on his back porch on like a summer day,
Was this
and
a
I we
band you were in?
yep, we did when we started Ditch Effort in college. It was me, Spencer, and Mike, and then some other members were this dude Aaron, who is like really good at guitar, and my friend Jorge Verde, who's also a singer songwriter. But yeah, me and Spencer were just jamming out on the back porch to those like two chords, and then I was just writing that as we went. And yeah, so it's like one thing leads to another, but you like start with one thing and then kind of go from there.
That's
Like
so
one meaning.
cool.
Thanks.
Do
Trying
you
to think of
still work with these guys?
Spencer and Mike. I do. I saw Aaron. He came to the Porch Fest show, which was awesome. But yeah, Spencer and Mike are the only ones that I still get to like play with every now and then.
Mm.
And it's like even just seeing them is helpful for writing stuff because like it's almost like a competitive thing for me. Like when I'm hanging out with other people who do this kind of thing, it kind of just fuels me to like want to, I don't know, like make something to like
Competitive streak.
yeah, like make something that's gonna like impress them or that they're gonna be like, oh yeah, that's good or
Yeah, like holy shit, dude, how you playing that?
yeah,
So you grew up in Vermont, right?
Connecticut actually.
Connecticut. Does that mean you're living in Vermont now, or
Yeah.
did growing up in Connecticut at all kind of inform your music? Is there much of a scene there, or what about Vermont?
Connecticut probably there was like a bit of a scene. I've always been a pretty isolated, like I'm not isolated, like I have friends, but like I'm not super outgoing. So like
Mm,
I'm not like I'm not good at networking or I haven't really
me neither.
yeah, so like I just haven't like in any aspect of my life really like built large networks at any point really in my life pretty much. So the whole idea of like finding like music scene and like networking and like playing with a bunch of other musicians is just like something that I haven't really done. I think I'm not like against it. I think it's just my nature as like kind of an introverted person is that
Mm.
it just hasn't really been something I've done. But I know there was a music scene at UConn of people like I went to a couple house shows and saw like some good bands. There's a cool one called WC Lindsay.
Oh, interesting name.
Yeah. It's funny, I haven't thought about this band in forever.
Did you used to be quite a fan?
Yeah, I was like I was very into them. It was great. And I saw them at a house show and went crazy.
That's sick. The house show kind of scene in America seems so cool. Maybe I'm just not tapped into it, but it doesn't seem like it's as vibrant of kind of a scene in New Zealand, if you can call it that.
Yeah, I have no idea. I have no idea what it's like anymore. Um, yeah, I graduated college in 2015, so, 10 years.
What were you studying?
Mechanical engineering.
Oh, wow. Clever clogs. Have you done
I
anything with that degree?
I have done I've done a couple different things with it. But I haven't done anything for a super long time. Um,
Mm,
so yeah, like I mechanical engineering was difficult for sure, and I think it comes back to like lack of networking skills ultimately. Advice to anybody in college is you should network. You should do
mm.
that for sure. I think otherwise, it's a bit tough.
Yeah, I get what you mean. It's like in theory I know what I gotta do, but then the idea of just talking to people sometimes is a bit much.
Yeah, yeah.
Speaking of interesting band names, could I ask the story, if there is one, behind Ditch Effort?
Yeah. I think at one point it was gonna be first ditch effort, but that was like too clever or something, and I didn't think that was good. Um, Ditch effort. I feel like there's not really a great story about it. I guess it was kind of so here's what it was. I think we'd been recording all summer and trying to like track stuff and make it sound really good. Like
Mm.
I remember we were focused on trying to get something that sounded like really good. So we would like record everything separately. So like we would do guitar and then we would try to do vocals and then we would do drums and everything like that. And then Ditch Effort was kind of just like I it was after the summer we were all back in school and I was actually at a different school other than like one of the other persons and people in the band. Um, so I remember like I had the songs that we were like trying to work on and I kind of just said like fuck it, I'm just gonna like record these like on my own, like intentionally shittily kind of.
Mm.
And it was kind of inspired by like, being exposed to like lo-fi music and like stuff that was like not conventional, like Alex G and
Yeah.
like early Modest Mouse and stuff, and just being like, yeah, just embrace that. Like just make something like it doesn't have to sound good. Like just use your laptop microphone and like record, sing and play guitar at the same time. Which also for me that's like a big thing. Like I feel like I sound better singing when I'm singing and playing guitar. So like
Mm.
that's pretty much how I record now is like I just play guitar and sing at the same time. Like I don't like to separate the vocals out and stuff. Like I just try to just do it in like a take. And a lot of stuff like pretty much almost everything on Henry Giltar, that album is like iPhone uh audio
Oh wow.
the from the iPhone videos that went along with some of those songs.
I
So I
had
just
no
take the
idea.
iPhone.
That's so interesting.
Yeah, thanks. So I just take like the iPhone videos and then I convert it to a WAV file, bring it into Audacity, and then just like I just go crazy over it with like electric guitar and acoustic and like sing harmonies and sometimes drums.
Mm.
Yeah, but that was where Ditch Effort came from. Just like fuck this, like I'm just gonna try it like Ditch Effort style, like
Yeah.
just throw
Last ditch
away
effort.
attitude. Yeah, I kind of just like just go for it, keep it loose, not worry about like metronomes or anything like that. And it was
Yeah, I
kind
know a
of
lot of
that was the
cabin
mindset.
pressure. Oh, sorry. What were you saying?
No, that was just like that was the mindset shift for me to like let go of perfection a little bit and like ditch effort. I don't know.
Mm. I definitely struggle with perfectionism, and I feel like that kind of inhibits my creative process a lot, trying to get this exact vision. So that's really inspiring to hear, actually.
Cool.
I know a lot of I think cabin pressure is just voice memos as well.
Cabin pressure.
If I'm thinking of the right project.
Um, I think that was the first album where I did the thing where I like um, the right and left ear.
Yeah,
One
lots of
with the
that in
girl
that album.
looking through the airplane window on the
Yeah.
ground. Yeah. Yep. So yeah, some of these are probably iPhone demo, but I think they're actually anytime you hear like the stuff where it's like fully left ear, fully right ear, that's actually my audio interface that I use. So like one track records electric guitar to the left ear, and one track records the microphone, which goes to the right channel. And then on that this album, I think it was the first time that I just like left it that way. I could be wrong, but like I just left it left and right, and it sounded cool. And then so a lot of the songs on this album, Cabin Pressure, are like that way. I think where it's like left ear, right ear. And then my
That,
most recent album, I did that too.
that's Shadow Maps, is it?
Yeah,
I love that album, by the way.
dude, thank you. I was yeah, Shadow Maps was that was nuts. Like next thing I knew, I just had all these songs. It was like crazy. And then and then I released it, and I'm reading like what I wrote when I released it, and I was all like, "I'm gonna keep going. I can do this forever." And then I don't know. I'm like still writing, but things come in spurts sometimes, and now I'm in like I don't post album depression. But
Right.
I'll be
It's all
okay.
out, and you're like, "Fuck, never
Yeah.
gonna, never gonna make anything again. I'm all out."
Yeah, pretty much. It was working up to watching paint dry, and then once I got that, I was like, all right, that's a good one.
That's a great one. That's a great one. That's one of my highlights from the album. That and Simon Says.
Thank you.
What interface do you record on?
Um, M Audio. It's an M Audio M track. I am planning to do a video soon on my setup and talk about it. One thing I've realized,
That
like, the reality of YouTube is that YouTube has become much more of a place for talking and less of a place for straight up music,
mm,
which is valid, I think. Like, I do the same thing. Like, I'm more inclined to click on a video with a person's face than like a video of like a picture with like some music, which
mm.
so like I'm willing to like kind of lean into that a little bit more and like talk and like, I did that ASMR video recently. So just stuff like
Oh
that where
yeah,
it's like I should just like, it's just putting yourself out there more and like letting people see your personality a little bit, and I feel like that's
just have
what
have fun
YouTube
with it.
is. Exactly. Yeah, I use an M Audio M track interface. It's a USB connection, and then it has two inputs, so you can do two mics at once, or you can do two guitars. I typically do like the electric guitar and a mic, and then I have my piano, which I can plug in and do like stuff with that. I could do like electronic drums on that piano. It's like the Yamaha. Hang on.
Are you set up in your little studio right now?
Yeah, it's just my desk. So yeah, it's just the same spot.
Cool, dude. That's awesome. Are you self-taught with all these instruments, or did you ever have any formal training?
I did have formal training. Yeah. I can you grab the and I can't find it. Anyway, let's circle back to that maybe. Formal
Yeah.
training. Yeah, I took guitar lessons as a kid. I super lucky. I got to go to this sleepaway camp when I was young, like probably middle school, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And there they would have like you'd wake up and then you'd all have breakfast, and then at like the end of breakfast you'd like on Monday you'd fill out like a sheet of like what you wanted to do that week, and there would be three main activities throughout the day. So you'd do like you could sign up for like archery and then capture the flag and something else. And I remember I signed up for like guitar, and it was just like a circle of like a camp counselor who when you're a little kid is like the coolest person in the world, like just some like older kid basically, but like camp counselor like was playing guitar, and um I can't remember if I had a guitar. I don't think I guess I probably did to bring, or I might have just borrowed one or something, or we took
Yeah.
turns, but like it was like guitar circle, so it was like outside and we were all just like hanging out, and like this counselor dude was just like showing us chords basically, like it was really basic, but it was like G chord, C chord, D chord, E minor. I remember we learned like Hey Ya, which is like a bunch of
Outcast.
like by Outkast, yeah, and then Time of Your Life by Green Day, and then he taught us
Wow,
like
those are cool tracks to like learn as the first couple songs.
I know, right? But they're also like the same chords, which is why it like all worked. And he was great. He was like explaining how like he's like, oh, music is just like you can play like so many songs with just these chords. Like he did the whole like, melody rundown of like Hey Ya into like Time of Your Life into like Wonderwall, and it blew our minds. And then there was like even like a little concert at the end of camp. It was great. So yeah, I had like I got to perform with like the whole guitar group. It was really incredible. That was pretty foundational for me. I think learning in a group was like really helpful, like having peers and like we're all learning together and stuff. And I kind of like kept up with it. I did private lessons for a while as well, so I had a really good amount of solid like foundational acoustic guitar training as a kid, which was fantastic. And then I pretty much put the guitar down. I don't remember exactly when, probably like some point midway through middle school, and then didn't really pick it back up until we were at my house, and it was actually like a little party, and these girls like found my guitar in the basement, and they were like, "Do you still play guitar?" And I was like, "No." And they were like, "Play it." And then I was like, "All right." And I like tried just like playing, and I kind of remembered some stuff, and then I just like didn't put it back down. So yeah,
It's funny. I know that's the I was reading about Bill Withers recently, and he was never. I mean, he liked music, but he was never too interested in it until he went to this show and he saw the musician come in late, and he was working as a he was installing toilets, and the musician came in and he was surrounded by a woman, and he was like, right, I'm picking up my my guitar again.
that's funny. Yeah, kind of true.
It's
Uh,
funny. You mentioned before that kind of when you used to play with your buddies, you were really trying to get this perfect song or like perfect sounds for the songs before you kind of went to this more lo-fi approach. Do you still have any of those old demos, or are they? Have you ever tried studio recording? What was the story there?
I think those are probably lost to time. We had the wildest setup back then. Spencer is the gear guy, like all the audio gear. Like he pretty much got me set up with my current setup back in college, and I've just carried it around to this day. Like so, he like taught me like the basics of Audacity and stuff, and I was just like, okay, good. Like that's all I need to know. um, I've never been a gear person. Like with my guitars and stuff, like I definitely don't care for them like as well as I should. Like but I get them tuned up every now and then, and that makes like a big difference. Like I got my electric tuned up, you know. I'm actually due for another one, but like yeah. Um yeah, those demos are lost to time. We spent so long trying to record Alaska. Like, we worked on that so much, and we were like trying to put drums in it and stuff. Basically, like most of the stuff on that like first album called Co-Host, um, like California, Accidents Happen Close to Home, um, and then oh Dreams. Yeah, we tried recording Dreams a million times too. There might be some live stuff I could maybe find of us
Hey,
playing in
if you can
Spencer's
find any
basement.
of those stuff, I would love to maybe have an exclusive track for Bombastic Zine. That would be great.
Okay, I think I got you. I can probably find something and I'll send it to you.
Nice, dude. That'd be so sick. Kind of while we're talking about unreleased music, I was wondering, you've got already such a big body of work just online, and I know lots of lots of it's really polished, and some of it is just like I think the other day you posted just a cool math guitar riff. I was wondering how much you kind of keep to yourself if there's a big body of music that you don't think is ever gonna see the light of day.
I've betrayed myself so many times now that it probably will see the light of day, but yeah, I think so.
Well, I'd love it if yeah, if we could get a few tracks or something for this CD that's gonna come with the zine, that would be really cool.
Okay. Yeah, I think like some of the stuff I'm sitting on now is like stuff that I guess I just thought it was a little bit too like I wanted to make something more fun and more like yeah, just more fun. And I like for me Shadow Maps feels like that. Like a recent thing with like it just felt more like upbeat and like less like blatantly self-deprecating, I guess. Like cuz
Mm.
I don't know. Like it's I'm like I'm not as, negative as some of the stuff sounds, but I don't know.
No, no, totally. I mean, that's
But I would be down
sometimes.
to do some stuff. Yeah.
Do you know RL Kelly, or I think they just go by RL now?
Yes.
I
They
know
did a
she.
split with Alex G, right?
Yeah, yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Um, she's pretty cool, and I was listening to an interview with her a while back, and she was saying like a lot of people think I'm this real kind of downer guy. But I think that's Elliott Smith has had a similar sentiment before, but it's like no, music is a good place to get those emotions out, and it's not. I'm not, that kind of person all the time.
Totally. Yeah, that's great. I mean, I would say same for me. Yeah. So that's why I just wanted to like I'm making an like concerted effort to try to write positive stuff because I think like it almost gets to the point where like it is kind of easy to just like strum some major seventh, you know, power chords and like write something kind of like depressing. Like
Mm.
I've gotten like I don't know, like I feel like I've like kind of done that a lot. So it's just like how much more do I want to do that? Like I want to like try to explore like the positive sides of me. Like I love Vampire Weekend too. Like that's one of my favorite bands, and like
Sick.
I would like I want to try to write stuff more like fun like that kind of like upbeat stuff. But I just haven't done like a whole lot of that. Like even the stuff that's like upbeat for me is still like kind of like I don't know, but I feel like I'm getting there. So
I get what you mean. I feel like I could definitely hear it's still very much you, but a tonal shift in Shadow Maps.
nice, thanks.
Uh, when it first came out, actually, like just a little bit ago, I did Mushrooms the night it came out, and I was just dancing all night to that album over and over.
Oh man, that's crazy.
It was awesome. It was a great night. You were the soundtrack.
Let's go.
Well,
Well,
to finish up the interview, I've just got maybe one or two more questions. I don't want to make this too long, but I was wondering if there is any advice you might have for other creatives trying to be authentic in their work.
um, yeah, I would say that it helps to just, I mean, it helps to just do it a lot, um, and try to do other things like that. For me, that's like the biggest thing. Like if I don't exercise, like I haven't been playing frisbee recently, but like I still run with my dog almost every day, and if I don't do that, like I don't know. I think it's good to like you got to do other stuff that like gives you feelings of self-worth and makes you happy. So for me like when I'm doing music and it's like I'm going to do this now and like that's what happened with Shadow Map. So it was like I'm going to like see what I have to say and like give this another try. Like I had taken a like really long break, from music and like writing stuff. So like coming back and then it was like boom, like I just like had a bunch of stuff and that was nice. So I think like you're gonna like hit your head against the wall a lot. And the other thing is, oh, this is actually really big. I think you just gotta like, you kind of gotta like put shit out there sometimes, even if you like don't really want to. Like, or if you can convince yourself that you're not going to share it somehow yourself sometimes, and then your future self can fuck yourself over and be like, I'm gonna release this anyway, and like, I don't know, but like if you're able to like convince yourself like I'm not gonna release this, like this is just for me, and then you're like somewhere down the line you'll be like, yeah, I'm putting this out.
Yeah, definitely. I get what you
But
mean.
if you sit on stuff too long, you can get a little like creatively constipated. I think where
Mm.
like I think that's what was happening to us that summer that we were just like trying so hard to record like two songs, and it's like at the end of the day, like
Tuning in and tuning
it's
out.
just not worth it. Like you could just not like just record it, put it out, and like even if it doesn't sound great, you can always come back to it. Like that's what I did with Henry Giltar. Like I think almost all the songs on that album are like redos,
Mm.
and it's like definitely my like best album all the way through, I would say, in terms of like the level of like polish. I don't know. I'm really happy with that album. And like that's all redos. So like anything that I've done to date, like, there's a lot of things I've put out on YouTube or Spotify one time and like never played again in any capacity publicly. So like at any point I could redo or like, you know, any of these. Like I did when I redid College, I like came up with like a new riff for it and like had fun with it and stuff. Even though I don't like it as much as the original College, but it's still good. I think it's all right. But like that's the thing. It's like you can always just put something out there, and like if it's not that great, it's fine. And then if you want to come back to it sometime, you totally could and like explore that idea more. So
Totally.
that's
Yeah.
like it'll be genuine if you try to just throw caution to the wind a little bit.
Yeah, that's really inspiring actually, and that's quite a similar sentiment that I heard from Bulldog Guys the other day. Because but both of you similar in the aspect that you re-record some of your music and just put it out, and I love that, and yeah, it's really inspiring to hear that.
That's great. And thanks. Yeah. And I think that is like this might be similar to what Bulldog guys said, but like that is the problem with like monetizing. Like because once you do that, it does make it harder to like throw away shit up there for some reason. I
Mm,
don't know. Maybe I'll just get over that, but like there's just something about it that just feels like once you hit a certain point, you're gonna be like, well, now people are expecting like, you know, that's one full stop right there. Like once you've already said that, you're already like kind of fucked, right? Like you're like if your brain is saying, well, now people are expecting this or that, or like then you're like kind of like putting yourself in a box, and like it's just gonna be harder for you to. But
keep
anyway,
the relationship pure with the music.
yeah, I should have just ended on a positive note. But
Well, we're not over yet. I'm gonna ask you one more question, and then you
okay.
can tell me where we can support you and your music. But I was just wondering, is there anything that you hope listeners take away from your music when you're listening to them?
Yeah, I just I hope it like makes people feel like growth or like I feel like any good art helps you like realize yourself more. So if my music does that for people, that would be a dream come true. Like having it help people like their never-ending pursuit of self-discovery, I guess.
Well, I know it's definitely helped me, and it's resonated with a lot of other people online. So thank you for creating, and I hope to hear lots more from you in the future. If you could tell us where we can support you and your music, that'd be great.
Thanks, Isaac. Yeah, so if you want to support me, I have Ditch Effort is the um, band name on Spotify and all the streaming services and Instagram and Bandcamp. And then Anri Giltar is the YouTube channel. Those are pretty much the two places. Streaming the music supports me. Watching the YouTube videos, but don't leave it on or whatever. Like just if you want to listen to it, listen to it. Like you know, the fact that people listen to it is awesome. So I'm just super grateful to everybody. Like it really means the world.
Okay, well, thank you so much for sitting down for this interview with me today. It's been really awesome, and thank you for being so open and receptive to all the questions I had.
Yeah, man, this is great. I really appreciate it. Yeah, really fun. And we'll be in touch about maybe doing some exclusive tracks.
Definitely. Everyone, go check out Shadow Maps. That's the latest release, and Henry Giltar as well, the album, because that's a great album. And Sad Jazz, that's my personal favorite.
That was a good one. All right.
Okay. Thank you
Thanks,
so
Isaac.
much. I'm going to stop the recording here. Hope everyone has a blessed day. See ya.
Bye.
Bombastic magazine.
Tuning in and tuning out.
Get ready for two. Never heard
Unreleased
before.
ditch effort tracks.
They're hot.
Another 4-chord daydream, thinking about you. Moral laughter when this sabotage is through. Another 4-chord daydream, thinking about you. Moral laughter when this sabotage is through. Moral laughter when this sabotage is through. One more roll of laughter, when this sabotage is through. Another 4-chord baby, crying his room. Another distant satellite, projecting light down to your room. Another distant satellite, projecting light down to your room. Another distant satellite, projecting light down to your room. Another 4-chord baby, crying in his room. Moral laughter right when this sabotage is through. Moral laughter right when this sabotage is through. Moral laughter right when this sabotage is through.
It's hot. Bombastic magazine.
My laundry's in the dryer and it's got an hour left to go. I'm playing on the stairs, I'm playing in the snow. I'm playing with your hair out, I just stubbed my toe. My laundry's in the dryer and it's got an hour left to dry. I'm sitting in the closet, swimming bouncing in the sky. There's a point to all this, I just can't remember why. The laundry's in the dryer and it's got an hour left to go. I'm sitting on the stairs, I'm playing in the snow. I'm playing with your hair out, I just stubbed my toe. My laundry's in the dryer and it's got an hour left to dry. I'm sitting in the closet fighting Bowser in the sky. There's a point to all this, I just can't remember why. My laundry's in the dryer and it's got an hour left to go. I'm sitting on the stairs, I'm playing in the snow. I'm playing with your hair out, I just stubbed my The laundry's in the dryer and it's got an hour left to dry. I'm sitting in the closet fighting Bowser in the sky. There's a point to all this, I just can't remember why. The laundry's in the dryer and it's got an hour left to go. I'm sitting on the stairs, I'm sitting in the snow. I'm playing with your hair out, I just stubbed my toe.
Bombastic
Express yourself.
magazine.
Stay creative.
Stay free.